Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Magnetic Mismatch. This is Linda.
This is Will, and welcome to the end of the world.
Oh, it feels like it
Man,
with the chaos and the self-quarantine.
we're still talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's the biggest thing right now happening, obviously.
Yeah. And, well, this is our 14th day.
14th day since you've been on break.
Yeah. But we've been doing the responsible thing by staying at home to try to flatten out the curve, doing our part.
For sure.
It hasn't been easy, I tell you.
Before we turned on the recorder, you were definitely feeling a little cuckoo.
Yeah.
Feeling trapped in the house, not being able to go anywhere. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, and seeing your face 24 hours a day.
That's a blessing. So what's the bad side?
Times 14 days.
Oh my God.
How many hours?
Brutal,
is that?
savage.
I'm starting to hate you.
Wow, okay.
Did you know that after the quarantine, China had a spike in divorces? And so what are we talking about today?
Wow. That's a hell of a statistic. Why'd you bring that up?
Because we're trying not to be a statistic.
Okay, fair. So today's topic kind of is obviously in relation to what's happening right now and being stuck in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about it and we thought it'd be interesting to share our thoughts on how to make the most of this time. You know, if you're in a quarantine or even if you're not, if your city's not on lockdown, just trying to stay indoors as much as you can, at least for now until we get a little bit more info.
Yeah. I think even though it's hard, especially for people like me who are very active, I like going outside, sitting at coffee shops. I enjoy walking around, going to the grocery store, going to work. I just really enjoy the social aspect of the day-to-day life. But, at this moment, I have to realize that it's more than just myself. It's protecting all the people that are older, people who are immunocompromised, and just preventing new cases of coronavirus infections. Just playing my part.
Sure, I think we all need to do that, especially the younger people.
Yeah.
Even though when we look at the statistics and everybody talks about which demographics impacted the most, it's typically people that are older, mm-hmm. Who also had pre-existing conditions, maybe weaker immune systems, right? But that doesn't mean that just because you're young, you're invincible. I think there's some people that think that for sure. They're just going about life as if nothing is happening right now. It's normal. Yeah,
and we have to be also mindful of all the people that aren't able to work from home, right? Yeah. Including myself. In the next week, I have to return back to work.
Right, because technically, it just so happens that you're on vacation.
On vacation.
Or you took time off, blocked it off on our schedule. So this technically is your vacation.
Yeah, and it just happened to fall in a quarantine period.
Sure.
But we have to think and appreciate all the people that are working the front line. So they're going to work. So you should do your part by staying at home.
Right, if you can.
Yeah, if you can.
Right. So definitely acknowledging and thanking and appreciating all the people in the healthcare professionals, mm-hmm. The community, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, just everybody that's still out there working with patients and helping out as we go through this period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how are you feeling about all of this? Obviously, obviously you said it's not easy. How are you feeling at the moment, having been in the house for so long?
Yeah, I think I'm going a little stir crazy. You see that.
You were okay in the beginning. And then
I have today. All these pent up energy that I want to release. And then, I want to go outside the house. But I stop myself. But I'm just trying to make the most of it.
Right.
I'm definitely feeling a little bit blues, like the blues. I'm
It's
definitely,
raining too,
yeah,
so
it's raining. I'm definitely not feeling myself right now.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I totally understand. And I'm sure there's people out there listening right now that are probably feeling the same way. For me, it's been easier just because I normally work from home anyways. But like you said, when we were talking about it before the podcast, was it is still different though, because even though I work from home most of the time, I still can go out and see clients or just run errands or do something random in the middle of the day, which I can't do right now or I shouldn't. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just being more mindful. Absolutely. But I think it's also how you look at this time too, right? I mean, obviously nobody wants to be in this situation. It's definitely not a time that we're celebrating for sure, because it is a very serious situation. But
Yeah.
I do think it's kind of like in life, stuff always happens. You're always going to come across adversity or situations that aren't ideal. And it's more important about how do you handle that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we use this time? Since we're stuck at home anyways, what can we do with it that we can make it into a positive thing? Because I think everybody has that decision. They have the power to make that decision. Are these next 2 weeks or however long we're going to be on lockdown going to be a miserable time? Or you can choose to use this time and make something productive or positive from it.
Yeah. I mean, for us, um, we started working on our passion project. We've been talking about launching a podcast for a while now.
So many laws. Yeah, so many years now.
Yeah, we've never done it because we've always been so busy or, just something or some excuse. So at this moment, there really was no more excuse, right? We just had to do it.
You have all the time in the world
We have
now.
all the time in the world.
I mean, again, some people are still technically working,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
from home. So maybe
yeah.
not, but still, for us
For us,
in this
because
situation.
because I'm on vacation right now,
Sure.
technically.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be traveling,
Hmm.
but since we're not, then we have to figure out a way to fill up this time to make the most of it and make it as productive and meaningful as possible, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could, and we totally get it too, where it's not like we're doing is working
No.
or that. I mean, definitely enjoying some Netflix at this time.
Yeah. I mean, we
Catching
did
up.
that for the first couple of days of my vacation. We were binging on Netflix and Hulu,
And
right?
not watching Outbreak or any of those movies or shows about pandemics and viruses.
No, no. And just catching up on shows that I've always wanted to watch or some interesting ones that I've heard about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a couple of down days, but then, after that, we decided, hey, let's make the most of this. Let's try to be as productive as we can be and enjoy this quarantine moment as much as we can.
For what it is. Absolutely.
For what it is, yeah.
Yeah. So what are some ideas or what are things that people maybe can do during this time if you're an adult, a professional, out there?
Yeah, I think this is also a good time to maybe map out your goals, your short-term goals, your next couple years goals, and your long-term goals, what you want in your life, and kind of maybe use some quiet time and just really evaluate to see if what you're doing now correlates with what you want in life, and if you're going to meet your goals continuing what you're doing, or should you think about any additional skills that you can acquire during this time period or in the future to get to where you want to get to.
Damn, that's a good point. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, we usually do that sort of mapping out and planning our year towards the end of the year. And I think a lot of people probably, that's when you're most motivated, right? Because New Year's resolutions, or it's a new year, new decade, and you're excited. You want to make some changes, but then, what typically happens like 1 month into it?
You forget, you stop doing it.
Yeah. Or people start, getting back to old habits, and they lose focus. So yeah, perfect time to reassess. Or if you haven't done that, you haven't mapped out your year, or you don't know what you're aiming for this year, it's a perfect opportunity to use this downtime and go ahead and do that. Maybe with your spouse too.
Yeah, and check in with your New Year's resolution if you made one, to see if you checked any of those goals off. Or if you're far behind, that's okay, because you're still early on in the year.
Yeah,
right? You can always get back on it.
for sure. Or if you haven't done your taxes yet, or you have some things on the plate that you just haven't had time to do, this is a perfect time to catch up.
Yeah. And then, actually, talking about taxes, I need to get on that.
Yeah, we've been procrastinating a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, we have that on our list this weekend.
Definitely.
To finish up things. And then, having an opportunity to spend more time with your spouse, having dinner with each other. Sometimes that's it's important. I think everybody realizes that, but not everybody has the opportunity usually to make that happen.
Yeah.
People get busy.
And I feel like I've been cooking a lot more often.
I've been very well fed this quarantine.
Well, it's not. It's weird. I don't think it's actually, yeah.
But you've always done that though.
Yeah, I've always cooked dinners for us, and then you would eat the leftovers for lunch.
Yeah, we make extra portions.
Yeah, but since with the quarantine, I feel like I've been making a different meal for every, a different like entree for every meal of the day.
I think also you're making portions that are smaller.
Yeah.
And we're not overcooking, so we don't want to waste anything. And since you have the time, it's been kind of fun too.
Yeah. And I've been getting very creative with my meals, because I don't want to waste anything right now. Just because we're trying to minimize the amount of times we have to go to the market.
Sure.
We're trying to make it where, the max number of times we go is once a week or less. We're trying to stretch that out. Most of our frozen meats and veggies are frozen.
Yeah.
So we've been eating healthy, but we're trying to just minimize.
Trying to ration a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to that point.
Not to that point, but I just don't want to go outside if I don't have to. Yeah.
And what's nice is, you've also been using it as an opportunity to shoot some content, some video, to share, recipes. Because I think there's people out there that have never cooked before. They don't know how, and they think it's so freaking hard to cook. They don't know where to start. So it's nice to give some of that, information out.
Yeah. And I'm really enjoying the 1-minute video contents I've been creating.
So check out our Instagram page, Magnetic Mismatch.
Yeah, definitely. I post 1-minute videos on, basically it summarizes exactly what to do to cook the meal.
Like a quick recipe.
Yeah, it
doesn't take 1 minute to cook everything.
Of course not. It usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
Sure.
But the fact that I can summarize it in 1 minute, I think it just simplifies the process.
Yeah, it shows you how simple it is.
Yeah, in overall.
And it's not that expensive.
No.
When you're buying food, eating out, I think people don't realize how much money it actually costs versus when you buy groceries, because it's all at once. It can feel like, oh my goodness, like how much did I just spend?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start breaking down the cost of each meal. And we usually shop at Whole Foods. It's one of the more expensive
for organic and
markets. So it'll show people that that's basically the max you'll have to spend. So if you shop somewhere else, it'll be a lot less.
You don't have to sacrifice quality for the food that you're cooking. It's not
No.
going to break the bank.
Yeah, even if you go
If
to the
you're smart,
most,
yeah.
even if you go to the most expensive market, it'll still be inexpensive.
Cheaper than eating out for
Yeah,
sure.
a lot cheaper. We've saved a lot of money from
Yeah.
eating at home,
Right.
and it's kind of nice because we use the money that we save to go towards
Other
stuff,
things.
other
Yeah.
things like travel.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's nice because it's giving you more time to try different recipes, to be more creative, to shoot some content. And then you even had a chance to learn how to make a cake, a family secret recipe from your mom.
I did. I've always wanted to learn how to bake that cake because you love it so much.
It's so good.
It's a pineapple raisin sponge cake.
Right, with vanilla.
Yeah, with vanilla extract that my mom makes herself.
It sounds like very simple, but when you eat it, it's like super fluffy, not overly sweet. It's just got a really unique flavor. I don't think I've ever had a cake that tasted like that.
Yeah, so that was nice. I came over and she taught me how to bake a cake.
And what did your mom say when you asked her to about learning how to bake that cake?
I don't know. What did she say?
You told me that she said she was surprised. Like,
oh yeah, she was surprised because, I've lived with her for so many years and I've never asked.
You never had an interest.
Yeah, I never had an interest, but now I feel like as I'm getting older and she's getting older, I want to learn some of these recipes from my parents so I could pass on, when we do have kids, to be able to pass on these recipes to them.
Yeah.
As well. Because, food is so special to me because I feel like everything, it kind of ties certain moments or a period of time, especially when I eat the cake or I have certain, dishes that my mom makes for me still. It's just, it's like it takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
And it always reminds me of the cozy dinners we used to have together. I mean, we still do, but it's not the same because I don't live there anymore. It's a little different.
And you don't want that to disappear.
No.
Those recipes and dishes.
No.
And I think what's cool is that it was during this process of like craziness that sparked that interest. And it's like, hey, now I have all this free time. Why not go learn this recipe, right? And just now you have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So something positive came out of it for sure.
Yeah. And my parents, they've been staying at home as well.
Right.
Yeah. So all of us has been practicing social distancing. So I felt safe to come over there.
And this was before they had the lockdown anyways.
Yeah.
With the city.
Yeah. But we did a personal lockdown.
We did for a while.
All of us did, including Will's parents.
My siblings, everybody.
Yeah. So came over. She taught me how to bake a cake.
You made a video of it.
I made a video
posted
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And so what about like people that have kids? That's kind of a weird situation, like parents that have kids right now that because schools shut down, and if they have young kids, what if like the people that are working, they're not used to having their kids at home
for that many hours.
Some parents must be going crazy right now.
Yeah.
The stress level. It's like, oh, maybe I appreciate the teachers a lot more.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't know how the teachers do it to take care of that many kids by yourself.
Yeah, it's an unbelievably difficult profession. So I definitely have a lot of respect for teachers because they put up with a lot.
They do. They take care of your kids. They teach them values and educate them.
Yeah.
It cannot possibly be easy. Right?
No, for sure.
Yeah, but like so let's say if you have kids, I think right now it's a good time to pass on some of your secret recipes to them, like my mom did. I think it's a good time to teach them how to cook, how to be self-sufficient, how to do simple tasks like laundry, how to sew on a button, maybe change a tire,
Yeah, life skills.
life skills.
Things that they don't teach you at school, right? Because I think the problem is, or not the problem, but like I think people just assume, oh, well, since school is closed, as a parent, like they're gonna just have a break, basically, right? It's vacation time, and the kids are probably thinking the same thing, right? If I'm a kid at that point, I'm like, man, I'd be so excited.
Cartoon all day.
Yeah. And that's, but they could still be learning, right? It just maybe not be learning a specific subject like they normally would in a classroom at school, but they could be learning exactly some of those things that you talked about or how to cook a meal, how to, balance a checkbook or whatever, like something that's valuable as an adult, that you can start teaching them and having, them maybe find an interest too. You never know. So it's a great opportunity because you're stuck at home with them anyways at this point.
And if you're a professional, maybe kind of teach them a little bit about
What you do. Yeah.
Right? Some of the important lessons that you've learned in your profession. I think also, I think that right now, learning a new skill is so accessible and easy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, maybe you can go on to one of those websites and buy them a course in a skill that they're interested in or thinking about, right? Because you don't really know if you want to go into a profession until you get to try it or have a taste of it. So if your kids are interested in, I don't know, computers, maybe buy them a course in the field that they're interested in the computer world. I'm not really technical, so I'm not sure, what's out there, programming or I don't know.
AI and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's the resources and the way that you can learn is changing. You don't have to physically be in a classroom to learn something. And like you said, the world is shifting from just having a traditional education to now being more skill based.
Yeah.
Skills are going to be more valuable than just having a piece of paper like a diploma saying I graduated from this school. And yeah, like more and more learning can take place web based.
Yep.
You can buy an online course. You can attend a webinar. There's so many ways you can learn something, and perfect time for them. And again, let them be kids too. I don't think it shouldn't feel like a punishment either. They should have fun or learn a language, right? That's kind of cool.
Or something.
Yeah. Be resourceful, be creative. Plenty of ways to use this time wisely right now.
And I think it's a good time to also check in with your kids. Really take this time to talk to them to see, if there's something going on in their life that you should be aware of.
Yeah, are they getting bullied? Is everything okay at school? Or how are they feeling about this whole situation?
Yeah, because this is a very stressful time, even for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I can't imagine how scary it would be for a kid.
A 5-year-old, a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and asking is fine. And letting them know it's perfectly normal to feel scared or, whatever, right? Whatever they're feeling, it's okay. It's normal.
Yeah. And I think by talking to them, it kind of teaches them how to communicate and voice how they're feeling. I think
it's true.
Yeah, I think even with myself growing up, that's why we were having some difficulties in the beginning of our relationship, was because I didn't communicate how I felt. I bottled everything in until there was like an explosion. Right? And I think that's not...
Oh, yes. I remember those.
But now I just say everything, how I feel.
Yeah.
And there's no filter now.
None whatsoever. None.
But I think by teaching kids how to communicate how they feel, it kind of builds confidence too.
That's true.
That way they're not feeling like their emotions are always being suppressed or their voice is always being suppressed. Right? It's like an outlet.
And I think the more they exercise that, the more they practice communicating and expressing what they're thinking and voicing their opinions and thoughts, it just naturally leads to being happier too. Or at least feeling, like you said, not all bottled up. And because I think when you feel like you don't have a voice, it's torture. You know, you may feel a certain way, but if you can't let that emotion out, or in a positive way or productive way, it hurts someone's psyche and all that, you know?
Yeah. And it teaches them how to use words to express themselves.
Right.
Because sometimes it's hard to form these words on how you feel.
To articulate yourself.
Yeah, to articulate yourself.
And that's going to help them through life.
Yeah.
Because everything's revolved around communication. Wow, that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Look at you, so wise.
I know. She's a wise person. She's a wise
I think also just looking at this as, again, an opportunity. Again, not saying, taking it lightly, not saying that this is oh my God, we're celebrating, we get to be in quarantine, right? But that's the truth. A lot of us are in quarantine, or you should self-quarantine at this time. And how do you make the best of the situation, right? I think that's a great lesson for all of us, because, and to our kids, or to people that look up to us, because, how you react to these situations says a lot about you as a person, but also it teaches other people how they should behave, staying calm, and cool-headed, right? In situations of stress. Doesn't mean you don't feel fear. Doesn't mean you don't feel the feelings that we all feel right now, but how do you get through it, right?
Yeah.
And using it as an opportunity right now to reconnect with yourself, with your family, with, work on those relationships. When's the last time you just sat with somebody and had a conversation like this, instead of being glued to your phone or being so busy that, we're not taking the time for the people that are most important in our lives. You know what I mean?
I think right now it's a good reminder of, the things we may be taking for granted, just like the little everyday task, or your loved ones, right?
Yeah.
Right now it's a, reminder that
Grateful.
Yeah, you have to be grateful for just your daily activities and just waking up and seeing your loved ones.
Yeah, I mean, people are dying from this, people, and if you have the opportunity to be there with your family at home right now, cherish that. You get to spend time with a loved one. Yeah. It's not a punishment.
No.
It's also like being grateful that you can quarantine, that nothing bad has happened to you at this time. Some people don't have a chance to quarantine. They're like, look at China, look at Europe, what's happening in Italy right now. People are in a panic, and there's so much craziness happening, and they wish they could have had the opportunity to quarantine themselves before people got more sick, right? More people got infected by this.
Yeah. I mean, we were lucky because we were one of the last countries that got infected, right? So we learned from what China went through, what Italy went through,
right?
What a great job Taiwan did to prevent the spread. Even though they're very close to China, people thought that due to the proximity they were gonna get hit hard, but the fact that they took huge precautions ahead of time, it prevented their people from getting sick. But we kind of learned that, right? So that's why we shut down certain borders to travel to high risk countries, and people coming into our country right now.
Yeah.
And within states too.
Yeah.
State to state. I think as of right now, we can't enter or leave Washington because they're a high risk states. I was going to say country. My geography.
I hear you. And even if it's an inconvenience for us, right? Bars are shut down, gyms are shut down. It's definitely disrupting our normal daily lives, right? That's the truth. But I'd rather it be an inconvenience if it than chaos, right? And if we're able to take these preventative measures to try to slow this thing down, because the real danger is if a lot of people get sick all at once.
Yeah. We just don't have the capacity.
There's not the infrastructure is not designed for this to
No.
deal with tons of people going to the hospital, right? Because there's still other things besides the COVID-19 coronavirus that's happening where people need the hospital facilities.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. We just don't have the infrastructure and the amount of staff and just, with mass people going in right now. That's why, if you think you're sick, make sure you go onto the CDC website, for tips and information on what to do.
And go to the source. Don't, read all these like
on
crazy...
Facebook. What should I do? Don't.
But there's a lot of misinformation, fake news, right? And so go to, whenever you want to get some good information, go to the source, right?
Who and CDC?
World Health Organization and Center for Disease and Control. Is that what it is? Yeah. I had to double check. But yeah, so it's important to stay informed, but don't drive yourself crazy either. And like I said,
don't read it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Scroll through one news after the next, because it gets very scary.
Yeah. And just coming back to using this time, treating it as quality time with people that you care about, being grateful for being able to quarantine, for having the ability for even people to run to Costco to buy supplies. Some places don't even have that, right? You can't go to a Costco. They don't have a Costco. They don't have, a market, right? So be grateful for all of that stuff. It's a reminder also how important our health is, and staying active, eating right, all those things, right? It's not until your health is in danger that we think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's hard to do the same activities you're used to, but make sure you don't neglect your health. Still work out at home.
Yeah. There's no reason why you can't, just because your gym is closed.
Yeah. There's videos, tons of exercise videos online on YouTube.
Right.
And I know like my gym, I do bar. They have live streaming.
Yeah. I think a lot of gyms are doing that, which is awesome. My gym too, which is cool.
So you could do a live stream with them, so you feel like you're in the gym class with the familiar faces, and just eat healthy. Just because you're in a quarantine right now doesn't mean that you get to eat unhealthy foods or just all prepackaged or cup of noodles.
Preserved, stuff.
Yeah, it's important that you keep your immune system healthy at this moment.
I would say it's even more important right now to focus on your health. I mean, if anything, right, it's a reminder of how fragile, life is and all that. But also, if you want to boost your immune system, this is the time to do it, and not even just that from a physiological standpoint, but mentally, being active, like you're stuck in the house, moving around, get your body going, right? Get your mind going so that you don't go crazy. Because I know for me, like when you get in a routine and you're used to like working out or being active, when you don't have that chance to do that and you don't move your body, it feels weird. It feels off,
Yeah. Yeah.
And your stress gets pent up and built up, your emotions, you start thinking negatively. But when you work out or when you exercise, you move your body, you don't have to think. Right, you can clear your mind and just focus on the workout.
Just follow the video.
Yeah, block out all the noise out there and the craziness. And maybe you might be in so much pain doing the workout with being sore that you don't have time to think about coronavirus. It's like, damn it, get those squats. It's like it's crazy.
The jumping jacks.
Yeah, the jumping jacks and all that, push-ups, the booty workouts.
Oh my god. Almost passed out doing one of those videos the other day.
But yeah, so that's what we've been doing. We've been and we got a workout after this, a home workout. So me. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
And then so staying healthy, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. I know that sounds kind of weird. Check in with yourself, talk to yourself, but I think we all need to do that sometimes. Really being self-aware, right? Not like literally going in front. I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe that works.
Hi, friends. How are
Hey,
you?
hi, Will. How are you doing? How are you doing, man? Like, how are you feeling? Is everything okay? Are you happy? Are you stressed? Like, what's going on? You know, talk it through.
Yeah. And also, more than ever, I think right now it's very important to be considerate of others,
100%.
right? And be a leader and a role model to the people around you. If you see an elderly neighbor or family members that needs help, even with supplies, help them. Don't just leave them hanging, because right now it's a very difficult time.
Yeah, but what about social distancing?
You can just drop it off at
Yeah,
their
I know.
front.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Don't go in their house and just drop it off in the front, knock their door, and just walk away.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get them infected.
I think it's easy. I think that's a good point, to think about others, to be considerate, and just show your humanity, right, to your fellow human
Yeah.
being. Be kind, and you should be always like this, but in my opinion, but even more so now, because
Yeah.
I think whenever there's like situations like this, when we're all going through something together, it's very easy to just think about me, my survival, my family survival. Forget everybody else. Like, you see it at these like Costco, Target, right? People rushing, mobbing the place for
Yeah.
supplies,
Yeah. And I think just get enough.
hoarding, right?
Yeah. Just get enough for what you need, right? For max a month. You don't need a cart full of anything at this moment. I think it just creates more panic.
We were talking about this, like, we were trying to figure out, I mean, I don't know, but we were trying to figure out, like, why of all things are people hoarding toilet paper, right? Like, it's a mystery.
See, I understand like the hand sanitizers, the wipes, right? But I was just like, toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need 10 packs of toilet papers?
Yeah, and the Costco packs too.
Yeah.
But I think my theory was that probably a couple of people, they were at Costco and they were panicking, and for some reason they think we're going to be, because it's the end of the world, therefore you're going to need this. You're going to need a lifetime supply of toilet paper because they're not going to produce it anymore. And so they threw on a couple of huge packs of Costco-sized toilet paper in their cart. And, if you're shopping and you see someone hoarding up toilet paper, even though it doesn't make sense, you're going to feel a little bit of FOMO, or like, wait,
Do I need them?
yeah, dude, they're hoarding it up. What do I need that many? Oh man, look, it's kind of running out. I gotta start. It's like this scarcity thing, right?
Yeah. And I get it too. I get it because last week when I went home to visit my dad, my parents, he was like, "Do you know where I could buy toilet paper?"
Even your dad.
Yeah, even my dad. And I was like, "Why, Dad? Are you out?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm running low on toilet papers, and I heard that they're out everywhere." So I'm like, "Hold up, let me do an inventory check, see if they're lying to me."
That's right.
I went around. I started looking at and counting, and I'm like, "Dad, you have 20 rolls of toilet papers."
Oh my god.
20. I'm like, on a normal like circumstance, how long would 20 rolls
And that's
of
just your mom and dad.
yeah, it's just them two. And I'm like, Dad, that's like half a year worth of toilet paper. You do not need toilet paper at this moment. And he thought of it. He thought about it, and he's like, yeah, you're right. I don't need toilet paper.
We get caught up. We get caught up, and when you think something is scarce, that's when you feel like I got to start hoarding up.
Yeah.
Right. And there's some sad stories, right? Like of like elderly people that, they're at the store and they're like, what the?
They don't know what's going on because they're not on social media.
Yeah. Or, and they're just going for their normal, like they need these supplies and there's nothing left. And the crazy thing is not even that there's nothing left. It's just that people are pulling it from the shelves faster than the market or place has the ability to restock it at that moment. You know, it's not like the world ran out of toilet paper. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
Or food.
or food. You know,
Yeah. You know, the food chain infrastructure is still intact. Just because of the coronavirus doesn't mean that our supplies has been cut off.
sure.
Right?
Might have slowed down though, the transportation, the trucks
maybe.
and things like that.
Yeah, but we don't need to be hoarding at this moment. Leave supplies for other people.
Take what you need. I think that's the
Just
message.
take exactly what you need, and that is it. I mean, have a little bit of extra in your home, just a little bit. But you know, be mindful of other people at this moment. And you know, if you have, let's say, if you picked up two plates of meat, and you know, you see an elderly person coming to look, offer them with none, offer them one.
Sure.
Right? It's just being considerate of others, being mindful.
Because that's how we're going to get through this together, right?
Yeah.
As a humans, like as a world, as economies, as people, you know, we need to come together, not like just everybody's out for themselves. It's like total chaos, right? That's the problem, you know? It's sad to see, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, more so now than ever, you know, we need to get through this tough times, especially with the small businesses, right?
Yeah. Supporting your local business.
Support your local businesses, especially when things are up and running again, because, you know, they're taking a huge hit.
Some businesses might not survive through this.
I know your business has been affected as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, everybody.
Yeah.
Because you have to cancel meetings, you have to cancel appointments.
For safety.
You know, maybe reach out to your favorite, I don't know, hairstylist and ask them, what can I do to help you at this moment, right? You know, maybe buying a bottle of shampoo from them. It might not seem, of course, practice social distancing. There's going to be ways for them to, you know, leave it in the front for you or whatnot.
Well, a lot of small businesses are doing like certificates or things like that you can purchase to help them out.
Or they
can probably redeem later, right, for an actual product or whatever.
Yeah. Or I know some restaurants are opening up their foods and making it into little bundles as pantry supplies.
Yeah, like a care package kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, help them out so that way they can stay in business.
Yeah, I mean, because if those small business owners get impacted too, it does impact you as a consumer, because that means the economy would start falling into a recession. You know, it's all connected.
Yeah.
And it's just the right thing to do in terms of like supporting each other or helping each other out. I mean, that's how humans have been able to survive for as long as we have, you know.
Definitely.
We work together. That's our biggest strength and difference between us and, you know, just regular animals.
Yeah.
Even though we are animals too, but
yeah.
So just being mindful, being like you said, I think earlier, I think that was really good, is being a role model, being a leader in the community, lead by example, especially, you know, when you think about it, how you react, what you say, right? Whether are you adding to the problem, or are you helping solve the problem? You know, because people are watching, whether you think or not, whether it's your kids, your coworkers, your friends, or your family, what you say and do, people are looking at that. And if somebody is already panicking and then you're panicking too, like, that's only going to be a mess, right? It's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And just be careful with what you share, right? The stories you tell.
True.
You know, because words has a lot of energy, power associated with it. If you're constantly just whining, complaining, or just fearful, you know, it affects the people around you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's a scary time,
Absolutely.
but just be a little bit more self-aware,
right,
of, you know, what's coming out from your mouth.
Imagine like you're somebody that has kids and you're the parents, and they're seeing you, you know, panicking, going to the Costco in line for 3 hours trying to get toilet paper, loading up, and what are they thinking? Like, oh, so anytime we run into cross, and they might not consciously be aware that that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, it
but
could be ingrained into their subconscious mind.
Right? They're going to start associating anytime I run across a problem in life, I should react this way
Or
because that's
panic.
that's how my parents react. It's crazy how the brain works, and we mimic behavior. Even as a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you react to this moment of fear by being resourceful, by
Calm.
calmness, by showing empathy to others, by being resourceful, people see that. And
people see that and they start emulating that, or they start being calm. They start having someone to turn to and feel better too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for both of us, you work with patients. I'm sure it's a scary time for them. And having you imagine you're the person taking care of them and you're
I'm panicking, right?
That's going to spill over to them.
Exactly.
So right now what they need is you to be a leader and to show confidence, even though you're scared, you're a human too. But in the face of this, it's how do you remain calm? How can you guide them too? It's not about just you, right? When you don't make it just about you and you make it about other people, that's where I think you draw that power. I know for me, same thing right now, because I work with clients, people are turning to me for leadership, for guidance, for clarity. And I don't have the answers, all the answers. You don't have all the answers. Nobody does. But it's how we react, that matters, and that gives people that comfort.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
So you can use this time as an opportunity to grow as a person, to learn, from other people, but also from books and other things that you can be doing right now, right? A lot of reading. We've been doing that.
We've been doing a lot of reading. It's working on my mindset right now.
Yeah, and meditation, yoga, right? A lot of these things will help strengthen your mindset so that when you're dealing with stress, when you're dealing with hard times or unknowns or an uncertainty, that you're able to overcome it, that you have some endurance when it comes to that. Yeah.
And I think as well, I know it's not a fun time, but try to have fun. Try to have a little bit of fun, right? Just to block out the world a little bit. It's okay to Netflix or Hulu or even play games with board games.
Family night.
Yeah,
game night.
Family night, game nights. Talk to each other.
Yeah, it's important to still stay connected, I think, just because you can't physically be there.
Yeah, or find a recipe, make it together, right?
Yeah, there could be a lot of joint projects or things that you can do. Be creative with.
Yeah, or arts and crafts.
Right. I mean, I know one of the things we're planning on doing is with my siblings and I, we do our monthly phone conference, or we use Skype. So we get to chit chat and connect. We're going to do that with our parents too, since we might not be able to visit them in person. But why not use technology, that we have now? Leverage that.
Yeah, because I think after next week when I go back to work, I do have some exposure to people. So Will and I were making the conscious decision of not seeing our parents for in person, maybe for a couple weeks or until, the situation gets better. Just because I don't want to be a carrier and, accidentally giving.
Oops. Ooh, forgot to turn my phone off.
Booty call. Just kidding.
I wish. I'm just kidding.
So we made the conscious decision of not seeing our parents for the next couple weeks or until this situation gets better, because I don't want to accidentally be a carrier and passing it on to our parents who are older and their immune system is not as good.
Sure.
I mean, it's hard because, I'm so used to seeing my parents every single week. And now that I can't see them as often, or a block of time.
It's different.
It's different. So we're gonna try to make the most of it. They use FaceTime.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna have to start FaceTiming dinners or lunches together. And Will and I will continue to drop off food for them, for both of our parents, in packages
so that they don't have to go out.
Yeah, so we're just gonna leave packages in on their front porch, and then that's it. It's kind of sad.
Well, and I mean, it's just about adjusting, right? It's not like those things that you're normally doing, whether it's working out or hanging out with friends and family.
Yeah.
Because we're, same thing with our friends. We had a planned event at our place we're hosting, and we had to adjust that. So it's, I think, learning to be creative. How can you still do those things, but just in a different way?
In a different way. And, we have to, even though it was a hard decision for me, I have to realize that this will pass, right? And the faster we...
It's not the end of the world.
No, and the faster I can only control myself, right?
Yeah.
And set examples for others. So, the more I follow directions by staying home as recommended by the city, the state, the country right now, the faster all of this will pass and all of us will get to go back to our normal lives.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. But we all have to pitch in, because what's crazy is that there's still people out there that are being, in my opinion, a little selfish and irresponsible, because they're still just going about life as I get it. There's some situations, right? But like, for example, I'm thinking of the people that are doing like the spring break right now. Like, they're going to the beaches, they're partying, and it's not even that they're just doing that. They're also rubbing it in people's faces, saying like, take this coronavirus, like, what coronavirus, who cares, kind of thing. And that they're coming from a place of just thinking about having fun and themselves, and they're not thinking about how they can be a carrier for and impacting other people, you know?
But it's not even that. Yeah, a carrier affecting other people, but let's say if they do get sick, right? Or, it's very contagious. So let's say a bunch of them get sick. It puts such a burden on the healthcare system right now. And those spaces could have gone to an elderly person.
Sure.
Someone else with heart failure.
Right.
Or someone else.
Yeah.
It could have been prevented.
Right. But they purposely chose to ignore all the dangers and just put themselves in that situation.
Yeah.
That's true. You're taking resources away from someone that might really need it. And I think with all this happening, like I was saying earlier, people are forgetting that a hospital still has other things going on, right? Yeah. It's not just coronavirus that they're dealing with. There's people in car accidents, people with chronic illness, or
people had a heart attack, people with heart failure exacerbation,
right?
People with breathing problems.
Yeah.
There's so many other people there.
And like you said, when you're pulling those resources or the hospital's at capacity, then they're in a situation where now they have to triage and they have to choose, where do these services and resources go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was hearing about.
Yeah, and it's true. So like certain surgeries are getting postponed, right? And you have to understand, some of the times, postponing, like, let's say a tumor removal from this week to next week, it could make all the differences in the world for that
life
person.
Life or death.
Yeah, so let's just be mindful and not selfish, and think about all the other people, especially the sick ones, the really sick populations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just being aware of that. I mean, you can't control what other people do, right? At the end of the day, like you said, we're hoping people can be a little bit responsible, think of others, you know, but.
Wash your hands.
Of course.
Don't touch your face. And wash your hands for 30 seconds at least. Sing the happy birthday song twice.
And just be aware, right? Be informed, stay informed, but don't let this be something you're obsessing over either.
Yeah. No. Enjoy the moment as much as you can. Learn new skills.
For what it is,
Yeah, for what it is. Like I learned how to edit videos for the very first time.
And you were very scared of doing that before.
Yeah.
And that's something you probably never would have put time into.
I probably would have never done it.
But now you have
But
some
now
time.
I'm excited with all my 1-minute recipes.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that's kind of the gist of it, right? Do you want to kind of summarize the last couple of things or for people to remember, or is that good?
No, I think it's good. Just be
Pretty
mindful
clear.
of others.
Yeah.
Make the most of this time.
Have some fun.
Learn
if
a
you
new
can.
skill. Have some fun if you can.
Right.
Or you should.
You should.
Try to quiet the mind.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that, once this is all over, how lucky we are
Right.
to be able to live our day-to-day lives, right? And not be in quarantine.
That's so true. I think that's a great
Yeah.
message. A lot of us, we take things for granted. We don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. And here we are. We're in danger of our normal lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
At least temporarily. And it's a good reminder. Be appreciative, be grateful, all that stuff.
And share with us, how are you guys getting through this situation? If you're in or if you're in one of the quarantine countries, let us know. What are you doing to get past this interesting time?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Here's some ideas. What are you learning? What are you growing? What are you growing? Maybe you're gardening. Who knows? What are you growing in that garden?
Actually, my dad is gardening a lot.
Yeah.
He's like pruning all these leaves. Is that what you call it? Pruning?
Pruning, yes.
Pruning,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah, share.
Grafting.
Yeah, he's keeping busy.
He's busy.
So we would love to hear that from you guys. But aside from that, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Magnetic Mismatch. Ring the bell for the notification. And then, of course, this being a podcast, make sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes.
Yeah, and download.
Download the podcast.
Yeah. And subscribe to my Instagram page at Magnetic Mismatch.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's because, I've been so obsessed with this newfound Instagram. I know I'm a little behind in time, but newfound Instagram. I've been posting almost every day.
You've been really good.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying making 1-minute videos.
Good for you.
But I don't know when you're gonna watch or listen to this podcast. But I made a video torturing Will.
Oh, maybe the public will see and empathize with me.
That's my favorite pastime.
Team Will, please. I need some more supporters. Anyways, so that's it for us. Stay safe out there, and we wish you the best to get through this time.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.